There, now he is.
Yeah, say he just came back.
You said the internet just died?
Did he? That sucks, man. I hate when that shit happens.
Back live in Daytona Beach as the geological oddity that apparently is the Daytona International Speedway. High Voltage Media Productions, Solstice Proline Cup Series, Dylan Body, Brandon Nicholson, Josh Mertz. As we left you right before Michael Frisch and Brandon Lambert came together, it was more of the 60 of Stanley hooked the 58 of Frisch, turned the 46 of Lambert. We don't have a replay given the circumstances, but lap number 34 of 101, and everyone getting bunched up and back going. 2 laps to green. I wish I would have stepped away before we went live, but I didn't. So, Mr. Body, if you want to hold the fort down for a moment.
Yeah, we can do that over here. Just watching these guys here pacing around, getting ready to come back and set up for the restart. Not 100%. Timing and scoring is not 100% accurate right now, but it looks like the 60 car, James Stanley may be out front at the moment, followed by Erdman and Steve Rada, Nick Baker, and Arnold Columbia, it looks like.
Erdman kind of faking going back down pit road, and it looks like the back three, Poteet, Poulin, and Columbia all going back down.
Yeah, it seems like those guys said, all right, you're going to fake us out, we're going to go for it. And they're going to go top off, maybe get some fresh rubber, try and get whatever little advantage they can, try and get in control of this race. You know, we've been talking about it's been pretty calm all night. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see that last accident. There was just a really tight race and nothing really crazy going on. Just a little bit of bumper contact and a bad part of the track led some cars going around. Doesn't seem like anybody is really destroyed. Cosmetically, these cars will probably still be fast. And with this package, we've seen they don't really have to be perfect to still be competitive. Dylan Livingood back on track after some transponder issues. He's going to be a few laps down. I'd imagine he'll get all but one of those back due to the Solstice rules, possibly. And then he'll be in position to race for the lucky dog with Cole DeRozier here on this next green flag run.
I do believe that's correct. He might get all of them back since we're under caution.
Yeah, that's true. There's a possibility.
Sometimes I feel like I don't even need to be here, Mr. Body. You tell me, oh, I'm not good, interesting by myself. I step away.
Fake it till you make it, Josh. Fake it till you make it.
I step away to blow my nose, and yeah, it's actually you hold it down very well.
Yeah, if you make me talk, I talk better. But normally I spend a lot of time watching when you're running the show here, because you're a little more smooth with everything. So I just sit back and.
You just say I talk too much. Got it. All right. Jeremy Stanley,
so
Cody
that time
Erdman,
I'm just going for it. Sometimes you just gotta lick the stamp and send it, as they say.
Very valid. Steve Rada, Nick Baker, Dylan Poteet, Arnold Columbia, Joey Bailey, Brandon Lambert, Jake Poulin, Cole DeRozier, Chris Wetz, Michael Frisch, Dylan Smith, Dylan Livingood. Lap 35, lap 36 now beginning. Green flag. Stanley gets a terrible restart, gets hit by Rada. I don't think that's going to be a penalty for Erdman for beating him to the line, because Stanley got a terrible restart into turn 1.
The 52's been pretty strong on these restarts. It seems like those Toyotas really get off the line pretty well, but the 60 here is going to have some draft from Rada, and they're going to pull right back up.
5 cars all tucked up behind one another, and the outside groove is really disorganized. It's Baker and Erdman, bumper to bumper, but Columbia, DeRozier, they're all kind of separated. Columbia's going to drop underneath of Baker, behind Lambert, and Jeremy Stanley, the winner from Texas earlier this season.
Oh, Wett's out of shape off of 4. That was uncomfortable to watch. Guy was fishtailing off of 4.
Leads. Wett saved it. Good save for him. 3 wide. Baker, Smith, Columbia. Smith with a huge run through the middle. And Dylan Smith. Can he do it?
Power moves. Putting the side draft on Lambert hard as they come up at it too.
Huge
Shoots it
run
wide
through
into
the
the outside
middle
wall.
For the man.
He's going to
from
keep the
Georgia.
momentum going.
I didn't understand how he
Slides
did
in.
that.
That was impressive. He looked like he had some help. The 21 tried to go with him and ended up going all the way to the wall and then ducked back down to the bottom real quick. But I think that little bit of air that he disrupted right behind the 1 really helped keep that run going for him onto the front stretch. Here we go. He's hooked up with his teammate here, Brandon Lambert, on the outside as they're going to try and get around Rada and Jeremy Stanley.
Stanley holds the lead. We would talk about fast lap, but it's a super speedway. It doesn't really necessarily matter. Everyone's in the 44-second bracket.
It's usually the guy in the back of the line that's the fast lap because he's got all those cars in front of him.
Yes, very valid. Can Dylan Smith take his teammate again to the lead, who nearly flipped a couple laps ago? Lambert holds the lead ahead of Dylan Smith. Arnold Columbia, who got into it with Michael Frisch trying to get back on the lead lap. So everyone back on the lead lap, except for Livingood. I don't think they've given him his laps back in the 57.
And we're getting all 3 of our wild card drivers here right on top of each other in the middle of this pack.
Baker, Poteet, Rada. Those are the wild cards coming into Daytona. As we'll have
These two lines seem to have kind of evened out. It seems like there's a little advantage for one in certain areas of the track, a little advantage for the other on the opposite areas. They just kind of keep it neck and neck.
Side drafting Lambert and Dylan Smith trying to get an advantage on the 60 of Stanley. And
This front 3
the
on
3
the
of Steve
outside were
Rada.
locked together.
Erdman behind, 5th in line on the top. He had a huge run, but it broke away when he got out of the draft of the 31. I've noticed with this aerodynamic package, you can suck up really well, and I think that's what happened to Dylan Smith. He had such a huge surge of momentum that it just sent him through the middle. It reminded me of, I think it was, 2010 Daytona, final lap with Dale Jr. on the backstretch? I think it was 2010.
I'm not 100% sure.
When Dale Jr. came from, 10th to 2nd on the last lap, lost my mind.
The year McMurray won, correct?
Yes. I was
I
standing
think that was
on
2010.
my couch,
I was screaming. I thought he was going to do it.
I thought he was going to win the Daytona 500.
I thought he was getting number 2 there, but luckily we got it a couple years later.
I remember in 2014 when he won, it was like 1 in the morning, and I ran and I woke my dad up. And he was like, "What? What just happened?" And I yelled at him and I said, "Dale Jr.'s won the Daytona 500, and his eyes went really big and he screamed and yelled, and that was a moment. And then he closed his eyes and went back to bed. I'll never forget that. Never forget that in my life. Back to the Solstice action. Jeremy Stanley holds the lead over Lambert. They're still side by side, but the top line has not really held together.
You know, and the thing we're not really talking about here is that Stanley's pretty well. He's maintaining here on the bottom, and he's got Steve Rada behind him in 3. And those guys are good buddies. They're not teammates this year, not running in the same equipment or anything, but that you can better believe they're going to work together to help one another out if they're in this type of position. And it seems like it's really working. These guys know how to work together, and they're keeping glued to each other.
As 6 race winners in the wild card in the playoffs: Bailey Wetz, Lambert, Dylan Smith, Stanley, Poulin. As Dylan Smith,
Dylan Smith's gonna lose it. Oh, and he saves it. Wall contact, but he holds on to it. I thought we were losing the whole field there. Wow,
what a save for Dylan Smith!
All out of shape.
And he's not going to lose that much track position from it either. He's right there.
Great. There's some great car control going on in today's race.
Like we said earlier, Josh, having all just the regulars here has been pretty solid. And oh no, we seem to have lost the 3 car.
I think Rada's going to have I think he's going to be dropping out. He'll have to rejoin from the pit lane. They're going to send him down pit lane. Bailey pitting? No, he's staying out of the way, though. Stanley's slow as well, maybe. There's no caution, as Rada does fall. So he'll have to rejoin.
I think with Rado just falling out there, I mean, it just broke that whole
Stanley had
inside
a
momentum.
gap and didn't have any draft momentum to hold his speed and allowed Lambert to get in front.
To be perfectly honest, when the car comes back, if they come back, it's a scary moment. To have a car pop up in your vision. Certainly happened before.
Yeah, I was really, once I saw him flicker out, I was just praying he wouldn't show up in front of those guys or in the front of someone's car.
Because I remember this was 2013. It was an Insomniac Racing Tour. If anyone watching remembers IRCA, there was an Insomniac Racing Tour race where I think it was Garrett Mashburn and Adam Sweet. I think it was Adam Sweet, one of my good buddies. But they were racing anyways, and it was a shootout at Daytona. And Mashburn was leading in turn 3, blinked out, came back, and wrecked the entire field. In turns 3 and 4.
I've seen guys blink out leading or in second at a plate race like this that's 2 or 3 wide, and when they come back, their bumper's inside someone's hood, and those 2 cars just helicopter off and take everybody with them, and it's just a 20-car pileup with 2 cars flying.
And we saw last season here in the season opener. Wow, I can't remember.
Big shuffling here in the middle of the.
It was Poulin who
they're all hanging Frisch out.
In 3 and 4, everyone's shuffling around.
And look at Dylan Smith right back to the front like it never happened.
As Rada is back on track in car number 3, at least back on circuit. Let's see if he'll get back on track. We're getting close to the end of stage 2, and I can tell you this race is going fairly quickly. Average speed, 164.955 miles an hour.
Yeah, this has been a pretty good race. Just the 2 cautions, one of them being essentially the stage break, coming out with 1.5 laps to go. And don't look now, but when we come to the line this time, we'll be taking 5 to go in the stage, Josh. It seems like we've been having some good conversation and forgot what was going on.
It's like we mentioned, as feeling a little under the weather. It's more of a relaxed vibe, given the circumstances in the playoffs. But just grab a favorite beverage and watch this race with 3 of your buddies. That's basically all we're doing.
Yep. It's kind of cool though. It's nice. It's giving me some extra practice, taking the reins with a little bit longer and more informative pieces of, whatever we call it coming out of my mouth. Giving me some practice for when you take the driver's seat here.
Frisch slows up.
Oh no! And Frisch, the bad luck continues.
Let me tell you, the second wild card race in a row because he blew up in Talladega last season.
Yeah, he did. I remember he was out front and running strong, and then had problems again. And it looks like they're going to be bringing him down, maybe? Nope.
No caution. No caution. But it says something about the 58's reliability, and they're changing something on that program. Because if the reliability is that bad at a plate track, I mean, he's just had a terrible season.
I think we're gonna over here. I say we. I do have a racing team. We've been out of commission this season. We have some technical alliances with a driver that runs in some iRacing leagues. Maybe we'll extend the old Toyota branch over to Michael Frisch and maybe pull in some sponsorship, give him a team opportunity to get in some equipment that maybe runs a little better. This Ford doesn't seem to be cutting it for them guys this year. It was great for them last season. It seems to just really be like bad luck this year. Here we come to the line. We're gonna get 3 to go in stage number 2.
As I once again had stepped away, so you wanna take it for a little bit longer?
I didn't even know I wasn't talking to anybody.
Oh, Stanley looks like he wants to peek to the outside. He's getting tired of that second place spot.
Yeah, he was hanging on to the lead there pretty well until Rada had his problems. I'm sure he wants to get back out in that position and control the race again like he was. And we got 3 wide here. Is Arnold Columbia going for 2nd place, and he's got help with the 21. Everybody's getting stacked up. Yeah, they got Nick Baker on the outside there with Dylan Smith, who's been showing a lot of speed here. Maybe they can get the run on the outside. Jeremy Stanley now got the advantage, but he's in the middle. What lane do you block?
3 wide for 3 rows, and Jeremy Stanley all by himself.
You know, he wants to be in front, but I don't think that's the way he wants to be in the front. That's a precarious position to be in. The 39 was all over his back bumper.
First retirement's Michael Frisch today in Daytona Beach, defending champion will finish in 14th. Luckily, again, obviously like last season, he's not a wild card, so he does not have to worry about it. Lambert is going to lead the field. Sorry to interrupt. Lambert's going to lead the field as we take the white flag in stage number 2.
And 39 and 21 gonna have to stay a little more organized on the back bumper of that 60 to be able to give him the push coming out of turn 4 next lap if he wants to be able to get this stage win.
As Lambert,
he's one of the cars with our. Have we mentioned the blue package and what that's for anybody who doesn't know?
That is the playoff banner. I believe we might not have mentioned it, given the fact that all of them except for 2 cars have it. Any cars with the blue spoiler, blue windshield, and blue splitter are your playoff drivers. You'll notice, obviously, Living Good and Columbia do not have those add-ons. Brandon Lambert off of turn number 4. Finally got the monkey off his back a couple weeks ago. With that win, he's going to win stage 2.
Yeah, it's good to see. You know, Lambert was out to start. Had, I think, been involved in both of the accidents. To keep the car clean enough to still be fast, and puts it all together, brings it back to the front for stage win number 2. Win in stage number 2. I apologize. Maybe we can pull him into the booth and see how he's doing. I'm just spitballing here.
No,
I don't know if these things are possible.
that totally makes sense. Hey, Brandon Lambert, it's Josh Mertz up in the HVMP commentary box. You got a copy? How was that flight that you nearly had, and then you come back to win stage 2? I do think if you're on the private Whisper with me, if you can use your regular key. I brought you up here. No, you're good.
Yeah, I couldn't hear you there, Brandon. I thought I was having a stroke or something.
Now you should be good. You'll have to repeat everything that you just told me, though, about your flight and coming back and winning stage 2.
Yeah. So the flight was scary as hell.
We thought you were going over for sure.
I didn't think I was going over. I just thought I was going head first into the freaking wall, and I did not want to do that. And or get cremated from behind. Which
managed to keep it pretty clean, man. I was impressed, for being involved in that. That was a scary looking wreck, but everybody seemed to be okay.
Yeah, I got no damage and everything, so it was freaking great. Just a little quarter panel damage where I got tagged, but guys got it fixed up.
Oh, and the 51 and the 1 made contact on pit road. Sorry to interrupt you, Brandon.
No problem.
Bring Dylan Livingood in as well, as we have our in-race reporter plus our stage 2 winner. Gentlemen, I'll have to ask you both while I have you in here. How is the package handling? We know that Dylan said it was kind of tight. How is it looking in stage 2?
I'd have to disagree with the tightness. I think it handles pretty damn well. I think this package creates crazy racing, which we're seeing so far. That stage in finish there was butt pucker and racing.
Yeah, them last 7 laps, everybody was moving around. No line was really losing momentum, even though half the people in it were jumping from top to bottom and abandoning where they were. It seemed like both lines kept momentum. It's been fun to watch.
Dylan, you got us up here?
Yeah, we got you. Yeah, just kind of was struggling through some handling stuff. There early on in stage 1, kind of figured out how to get the car to come off the bumps and come off the edges of the corner a little bit better, and feel like working with Wets there, learned a lot about how draft works and just how to be on somebody, and gonna put it to use here in this next stage.
I have to ask either one of you. I don't know, because my memory, because of my, yes, it's a cold, but it hits me like a brick wall. My memory's not the greatest at the moment. Lambert, were you racing with your teammate when your teammate suddenly went up like 5 spots on the outside?
No.
A couple laps ago. No.
He made that move all on his own.
And do you think it's just because of the package? Because of the huge draft?
Oh yeah, it's for sure. It's I think this package creates insane runs at times, and like if you time it right, you can pass 3 or 4 cars by yourself, and it's just the way somehow this package works, it's created fantastic racing at CRI Super Speedway, and we're seeing it again here tonight. So really looking forward to the end of this race. It's going to be absolutely chaos.
All right, gentlemen. Good luck to both of you. We'll let you go, and hopefully we'll speak to either one of you in Victory Lane later on.
All right, sounds good. Thanks.
Yeah, good luck, guys.
As Dylan Linegood back on the lead lap in the 57, he is going to be scored in second. So a good recovery for him. 12 cars still on the track. On the lead lap, I should say. Steve Raitt is 2 laps down on the 13. Only one retirement, defending champion Michael Frisch. It's a random F1 reference, which I don't expect anyone to get, but Michael Frisch's season reminds me of 1997 with Damon Hill. Now, the reason why I say this, to translate it, Damon Hill was amazing in... or was it Villeneuve? It was one of them in a Williams. Oh, it was Damon Hill. Damon Hill in 96 won the World Championship for Williams, won a bunch of races, podiums, second place, third place, whatever. He gets fired because of Jacques Villeneuve, the same Jacques Villeneuve that raced in NASCAR. Fired because of Jacques Villeneuve, so he goes to the Arrows team, and Arrows is horrible. And he does not finish in the top 5. He barely almost wins a race in Hungary, and the gearbox explodes on the last lap. So he didn't win the race. But that's what's reminding me of Michael Frisch's season. Bad. As a championship defense.
Yeah, definitely sounds like Michael Frisch's season.
Green flag for Stanley in stage 3. Livingood got a terrible restart.
Not a very great restart.
But you know what I would do if I was him? I'd stick behind Poteet, because this is the highest up he's been, and we know that it's a personal goal for Livingood to win a Solstice Racing event before he hangs up the helmet for good. And I think that's all he's waiting for, is to win a Solstice race.
Yeah, he doesn't. He just definitely. The races are few and far between. This is really the only place we've seen him recently. It seems like he's just really trying to not get that last notch in the belt and get that last series crossed off the old bucket list.
He has 13 wins in the NASA Rallycross Challenge and 4 championships there. You might notice
Dylan Smith up the middle again.
Huge run. I was just.
He's gonna keep it coming. He's on. He's got it
Smith to the lead.
To the lead. From 6th to 1st and a half a straightaway. What a move. The one is unstoppable today.
I'm going to tell you, that's the second time Dylan Smith did that, and that's going to win him the race. And that proves that you could be anywhere in this field, and you can come in and win the race.
It just seems like Dylan has really been testing stuff. He's been to the back, to the front a lot, making a lot of moves, and I think he just is at the point now where he knows what he has to do, and that was him testing to make sure that he had it right, and he's definitely got it right. It's going to be hard to beat.
And so it's funny, again breaking the fourth wall, I said a naughty word in text chat. Lambert comes over my whisper and says, "No kidding," as he's laughing, given what Dylan Smith just did.
Yeah, that was an incredible thing.
That's the car to beat.
It might not even be the car to beat, but that's the driver to beat. I don't care what he's in. He could be out there in a hoopty. I still think he's gonna get it. Have him take Frisch's car back out there. He'll make it work.
As while Dylan Smith isn't creating crazy moves, programming note for the Automotive Sports Network for NASA Rallycross. They did race in Negus this past Tuesday. Coverage should be up, I would say, by next week. It's a little bit delayed given the under-the-weather status of me. 2 weeks ago in Lakewood, should be on ASN On Demand. We'll get that caught up, and then we will see the Solstice guys in 1 week in Iowa. So that should be a good race. As Iowa, Trois-Rivières, and Auto Club begin the second round of the playoffs. So now we're going to reset the running order. Dylan Smith, Arnold Columbia, as Jeremy Stanley, Joey Bailey, Dylan Poteet, Brandon Lambert, Chris Wetz, Steve Raitt, Dylan Livingood, Cody Erdman, Nick Baker, Jake Poulin, Cole DeRozier. Everyone looks like we just started the race. And you know, I was talking about how Cole was off the lead lap and struggling and everything like that, but he is... I mean, he's 5 seconds off the draft, but he's on the lead lap. So if these guys wadded it up, it would certainly help him. Look at Erdman.
Erdman with a power move in front of Livingood there, squeezing in and making it work in front of it.
It might be the Toyotas that are allowing this.
Yeah, I've been thinking that all the cars that we seem to see making the real radical moves and really hanging on to it are the Toyotas. I was wondering if maybe they have some sort of aero advantage here with this package at this track, because they seem to really just be able to get the run and cut through the air.
Yes, Columbia, the Darlington winner. Remember, he won both Darlington races. The throwback week, it was for FTF and for Solstice.
And for Proline.
In the same week.
Yeah, what a weekend it was for Arnold. Made a lot of news here in the sim racing community.
As Stanley behind him in the 60, Poteet in the 31. If we look at the race winners, Kraus won twice, Columbia once, Mercurio twice, and then everyone else in the playoffs has only won once. We have not had a breakout driver in the playoffs. It's been full of parity this season, which is nice to see, and I know I said this on our last show. It's nice to see compared to the 7 or 8 wins that Michael Frisch had last season. But don't get me wrong, both seasons are interesting, because to see that level of domination in a stock car series is very unique. But to also see that no one has really broken away from the field, in points at least, is remarkable.
It's a nice change-up. You know, Frisch last year, really, him and Joey Bailey had the whole field on lockdown, and then this year it's been really kind of up in the air. I mean, Joey's been consistent. Michael's had some great moments and a lot of bad moments. Managed to keep himself locked into the playoffs all year, though, and it's been kind of a more relaxed. Not race-wise, we've had some incredible journeys here in the Twilight Zone over the last 2 months. But as far as the championship standings go, it seems like it's been a lot more relaxed pace this year. Everybody's a lot closer. It's not really just two guys dominating everything.
If I remember correctly, I think I had a chat with Lambert at the end of last season, and he had mentioned that this package was going to get a little radical to open up the racing, really. Given that Frisch aced that package early last season and really set sail. And it didn't matter what track it was, whether it was a short track, a road course. Columbia with a huge block on Dylan Smith. Smith's going to say, no, I'm not going to get blocked by you.
He's going to stick it there anyway. This is mine.
And he gets set through the middle. And
like when that car hits its stride, there's no stopping it. It's going to go where it wants to go, and that's to the front.
That was a bad move for Columbia. In hindsight, it was a bad move because it sent him up to the outside. Now he's going to lose all that momentum.
Yep, and tuck it in front of Dylan Livingood in the back here on the outside.
Dylan Smith is not clear to Jeremy Stanley. We're on lap 61 of 101. We got 40 laps to go. And he leads.
39.
As he led officially at the line beginning lap 62. Average speed is still 162.883. If they keep this up, an average speed, a lap time average speed of 200 miles an hour will raise that speed. Very calm race. And I know we've ran that dead horse into the ground a couple times, but very calm race. I don't expect it to stay very calm for long, though.
No, I'd say we got about 15 or 20 laps before things start getting dicey. We're probably definitely going to get at least one more pit stop. I'm thinking maybe 2 if it stays green. I don't know exactly what our windows are here, but it's definitely going to get crazy. We've seen from the couple wrecks we've had that they don't look like much, but they take out a lot of cars. It's probably just going to get worse.
As Stanley got credited with leading that lap that last time. It's side by side for 6 rows back like the beginning of the race. As Stanley holds the lead, Poteet behind him in the 31. The outside gets a great run off the corner, winds it up through 3 and 4, and I think really Dylan Smith is just practicing for the race end. If he's in the back of the field.
I think he is too. He's just very, very patient. Doesn't look like it's hard to do anything. He just
Columbia through the middle. Banging doors with
He's
the
trying to
radar.
do some Dylan Smith moves, and this is the first time we've seen somebody else try that through the middle move. Maybe he's been taking notes, and it seems like it's working for him a little bit.
As I think he was rubbing doors too much with Rada, and that killed his momentum, but he is still trying to peak in the middle between Bailey and Poteet. Now he's going to be behind the 51.
He forces way up in front of Lambert. I didn't think he was going to be able to make it happen.
And now Columbia is going to shove the 51 of Bailey 3 wide for the lead, and Bailey's going to try and take the lead again.
And I feel like this is almost you know, NASCAR fans everywhere are gonna probably burn me at the stake for this one, but the middle might be the place to be here tonight. It seems like that's where all these power moves are coming from.
Because no one wants to be there until you get a huge surge of momentum.
Yeah, you just gotta time it right, and the middle is it's the golden brick road or yellow brick road, you know.
Because you can part the seas and send it through the middle, lick the stamp and send it, and away
Yes,
you
sir.
go.
And Jeremy Stanley going to resume the duties of leader here on the inside as Joey Bailey now leads the middle /
Dylan
outside
Smith!
line.
He's making a hole in the middle, and he's going to get by Columbia.
And he's going to quickly get back to the middle. As soon as he got out of that lead car position, he fell back, got into the middle, and came right back to the front.
And Bailey saw it in his mirror, and he countered that move with perfection. Because there was no way...
Been studying.
No way that the 51 was going to let the 1 do that again.
And here's Steve Rada also there back into the picture here, getting back tied up with these guys. You know, he's been running consistently all night. Would love to see Steve get a great finish here. That would be awesome for him. And moving forward, be cool to come out and been kind of an up and down season. It'd be awesome for him to come out here and really cap it off with a great finish at one of his home tracks.
As Stanley holds the lead, 4 cars on the inside. Stanley, Poteet, Wetz, and Livingood. Then it's Bailey, Smith, Rada, Columbia, Erdman, and Lambert kind of hanging back there in the 46. So it's kind of 6 cars versus 4, but the last 2 in that top groove are not coming together.
Oh, Bailey came up high a little bit there off of that inside line. I thought maybe Dylan Smith was going to stick the nose back to the inside, but he chose to keep it there for this lap.
As we're edging closer and closer. You know what I found interesting? You said there was going to be like 10 to 15 or 20 laps left of really conservative racing, and then they were 3 wide, driving like it was the last lap. And
yeah,
I held my tongue,
once again, we've settled out. It hasn't been. I know. I'm glad you didn't jump on me right away. I appreciate it. But it's aggressive. It was 3 wide, but it was controlled. You know what I mean? It didn't feel out of control. It didn't feel like it was getting to frantic time yet. It just seemed like that was where the lines were, and everybody was gonna see where was the fastest. And obviously, once they got 3 wide, nobody was going anywhere, so they all sorted it back out. As Stanley leads at the conclusion of 67 at the start of 68.
And Stanley over Bailey, side by side, Poteet and Dylan Smith, Wetz, and Rada. Lap 68 of 101. We're getting close to the finish.
Time is a ticking down on the old clock here.
As I don't know if we have our timing and scoring up on our live stream or not. We're going to try and get it pulled up.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. I should see how the stream's going.
As Poulin pits in the 21, a little bit off sequence there, as Stanley ahead of Bailey at the line. So Poulin comes out of the pit lane in front of the field. And he does not infringe on that. So timing and scoring, the little graphic might be incorrect. It might say race 12 at Talladega. But like I said, we've had some technical issues all day long, so forgive us. Poulin slides it, entering pit lane into Bailey. Bailey doesn't get turned.
What is going on here?
Is this going to be a caution? It was only 1 car. I don't think it will. I think they would have thrown a caution if Bailey would have been turned. Caution is out. And you know who's going to get killed by this? It's going to be the 2 gentlemen that just stayed out. As Wetz and Livingood are the only 2 cars that stayed out.
Well, this certainly shakes things up a bit. Now I feel like my 15 to 20 laps, I think they're slowing down to wait for the rest of the field, maybe? Try and get this caution over quick and get...
Wets, Living Good, DeRozier, Poulin, Dylan Smith, Columbia, Stanley, Bailey, Poteet, Lambert. As everyone winds back up and gets rid back up. We're about 30 laps to go here in Daytona.
Seems like we finally got the situation sorted out here. Everybody's back together on the speedway.
Interestingly enough, these two guys that we haven't really seen all day, Wets and Living Good, both going to start up here at the front. Let's see if Living Good can actually get it done on this restart this time.
Yeah, I mean, if he can keep up here and get a good restart here, and he might be able to hang up here in the front with these guys. We've seen these Toyotas be fast and really cut through the air. Yeah, he might have something up his sleeve, and he might not even know it yet.
I think we have one lap until we go green here in Daytona Beach. As DeRozier was sent to the end of the longest line, but he will get the lucky dog, and I think everyone's going to pit again. We'll have to see the rotation. Everyone wants to get every drop of fuel that they can get. And no, this is going to be a big deal. As Poulin, everyone pits except for Columbia, Stanley, and Rada. So it's not going to hinder them too much, because at worst case, Living Good will line up 5th, Wetz will line up 5th. 4th and 5th, I should say. We'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, this I like this move by Columbia. He's been trying to get to the front. He's been kind of aggressive all night, and this is just a good way for him to set himself up without having to do it all on the racetrack. We saw what happened when he got a little aggressive earlier in the race.
I think Poulin already on the clutch on the 20 in the 21.
Looks like he's gonna take the wave around.
Stanley, Baker, Rada, Dylan Smith, Erdman. Here's Living Good and Lambert coming around. End of longest line for Dylan Smith. End of longest line for Poteet. End of longest line for DeRozier.
It looks like Rada's dropping back here too in the inside. I don't know if that's by rule or if he's just trying to get out of the way for the restart.
Dylan Smith attaching some lawnmower blades to his car.
And the 9, Nick Baker, look at him back into the picture here on the inside row, second car.
Getting ready to bring it back green here, coming out of turn 4. Columbia's going to lead him down.
Columbia, Stanley, Baker, Living Good, Lambert top 5. Bailey, Wetz, DeRozier, Poteet, Erdman top 10. Smith, Rada, Poulin. 85 miles an hour, green flag. It's crazy, these stock cars drive, obviously, first gear, 85 miles an hour. My street car's in 5th gear at 85 miles an hour. Into turn 1. Columbia leads Stanley, leads Baker, leads Lambert. Outside is Living Good, ducks in behind Lambert. Lambert peeks to the outside of Baker. And
thinks better of it as they come off of 2. Baker
That's
flares
Columbia.
out. He's going to give Joey Bailey somebody to run up to. Going to bring that high line back together as the field splits back up.
Columbia opened the door for Stanley, then closed it. Bailey bump drafted the 9 of Baker, tried to send him down the back straightaway. Dylan Smith trying to do what he's done the last 3 restarts in a row. High, wide, not really high, wide, and handsome, but still handsome through the middle. He's got a huge run. He's got Erdman behind him through the middle. Bailey and Livingood through the middle of
He's
Baker
inside of Baker,
and
not going to
Lambert.
shut the door. Here comes Dylan Smith.
As Poteet follows Erdman, follows Dylan Smith, and from the back to the front, can Dylan Smith close it?
Very reminiscent of 2001 July Dale Earnhardt Jr. here, the way this car comes through the field.
Oh, Erdman into the wall.
Erdman into the wall, and he's going to go around. It looks like it's just going to be him. I am seeing caution on the speedway. Scary situation there for all the leaders on the backstretch.
Did a great job of not hitting anybody, just keeping that car locked down and keeping it on the high side there. Take a look at the replay here. See if we can determine what happened. It looks like the 31 just grabbed his bumper a little bit too wrong. Didn't hit him straight and just sent him through spinning.
Yeah, just the product of, you know, plate racing, trying to give each other that push as close to the exit of the corner as you can, and just didn't quite get it lined up right.
Columbia's gonna hold that lead. He's been looking strong all day.
Yeah, and we've seen and we've talked about all year. Columbia, he has an aggressive streak. When he gets out front, he's hard to get around. He's like a bulldog Ryan Newman type of character here. He's been working all race really hard to get back to the front, and he's been put himself back in this position, and he's once again not going to give it up easy to anybody.
Columbia, Stanley, Smith, Lambert, Poteet, top 5. We're getting close to the end. 26 laps to go. Coming to 25 in Daytona Beach.
See if we make this a quickie yellow. Probably gonna go 1 to go this time. Any takers on pit road?
Everyone.
I feel like everyone should, because we should be 100% clear to make it to the end here.
Yep, nobody stays out. They're all gonna probably be able to make it to
Be
the
interesting to see if anybody plays the 2 tire strategy or the no tire strategy to try and get out quickly and maybe get themselves some track position here.
Looks like that's what a lot of people are doing, going 2 tires.
And the 57 car.
It's got to
The
be.
old Circle K mobile.
I think he sped on pit lane though.
Oh yeah, he's definitely dropping back. Okay, never mind, Dylan. I'm not giving you any props, you cheater. Slow down on pit lane. Oh, he can't hear me. Puts it through the grass a little bit for good measure there. I don't know if this is what Arnold Columbia wants to see. He's got the 51 as the next car in line. That's been a strong car all night. I don't know if I want him as the other lead car of the line that I'm not in.
Who's your favorite for these last 25 laps?
My favorite, Dylan Smith. My dark horse, the number 9, Nick Baker. The Mopar car is it's a little extra powder blue tonight. It looks really nice, and that car keeps finding its way to this 3rd position. And I think he might be in position if these guys wad it up at the end.
Brandon?
It was so funny. Baker was not confident at all coming into this race, and he said he wasn't going to make it to the next round, but it's looking to prove otherwise. He's definitely one of my favorites for tonight, if he can get this done.
Columbia leads Bailey, leads Baker, leads Smith, Erdman, green flag in Daytona. As we go down to turn 1, Stanley
Oh, trouble! Big trouble!
wads up the field. Erdman's over in the 52.
Oh,
And for the second consecutive restrictor plate race, he gets tagged and sent over. And that's weird. He just gripped and rolled it.
Yeah, the tires just kind of rolled on themselves and sent the car over. Maybe that's a product of low air pressure on the restart? I don't know. I'm once again just reaching for an explanation here.
Stanley, well, that was Dylan Smith tried to go to the outside of Bailey, and they hooked bumpers. That was really just Dylan getting aggressive.
yeah. Yeah, and Erdman was just trying to avoid that and came together with Living Good there and group flipped him.
Now, do you pit again?
I would almost say yes, why not?
Yeah, I guess so. Everybody's coming. Oh, 57 gets into the 9 a little bit coming on to pit entry.
Looks like these guys are taking 4 once again.
And
Look at
Columbia blocks the 57 into his
Oh.
pit stall.
Columbia gonna take gas only. If he even
Yeah,
got serviced.
Yeah,
Same.
that timing was really weird.
Baker looks like he takes gas only as well.
And this is going to hurt the 57. Well, the 57 is going to take tires anyways, but
You know, I don't think we're done yet, Josh. I think he's going to be just fine, unless he gets caught up in an accident. Because that about 1,800 feet of racing we had there was really intense.
oh boy. Columbia, Baker, Poteet, Bailey, Lambert, DeRozier, Wetz, Rada, Poulin, Stanley, Erdman, Dylan Smith, Living Good. As the average speed has come down to 154 miles an hour.
Yeah, real quick like that, how it happens. A couple cautions and that old average speed starts trickling down.
This time Baker and Bailey are the 2 Dodges are gonna line up together and the 2 Fords on the inside.
Yeah, finally getting to see some of the Fords get together here, see if they can come up with anything.
Lambert and Wetz, the 2 Toyotas. Got a lot of manufacturers all gonna be hooked up together here.
We're getting ready to go green on lap 78 of 101.
Guys, do we only have one Chevy in the field?
We
We do. It's just Poulin.
wow.
Wow.
Green flag.
Flag back in the air. The 51 with a great start right to the bumper of the 9. Going to give him that push going down the chute into the turn 1.
No contest on the bottom. Columbia, Poteet, and Lambert side by side. Baker with Wetz off at
Yeah,
2.
Lambert, hell of a run there to give those 2 Fords a push down the straightaway. Those 3 were all glued to each other going into turn 1 and 2. Oates, Pete jumping to the outside, going to give this whole leading one of these lines thing a try. Another guy who kind of missed a few races, put himself in this position, but he's a wild card, has the opportunity here to get himself into the next round and put himself in position late in the race here as we're going to be coming to 21 laps to go, or 22 laps to go here in Daytona.
And that accident didn't phase Dylan Smith at all. He slid right up in Erdman and going into 4 there.
Yeah, I'll be waiting for that car. Here goes Lambert, maybe taking a page out of his teammate's book, trying to make a power move to the outside. Now Lambert pacing the outside line.
3 cars on the bottom, but there's a huge gap between Stanley and Rada. It's about a car length and a half. But meanwhile, that gap on the outside is filled by Joey Bailey. But They have a longer distance to drive over the inside groove, so that's what's hurting them.
Rada with a good run out of 4, gonna get right to the bumper and pull that inside line together. Now they got 5 cars all tight. Wet's peeking outside. Now Jeremy Stanley jumps to the outside to take control of the outside lane from Brandon Lambert.
It's 2 car lengths between Rada and Poulin. Lambert's going to drop down underneath the yellow line.
Lambert is getting out of Dodge very
what's
quickly.
Going to happen.
Yep, he sees something. And Chris Wetz back into the picture here at 71 Machine. Been strong all season. Nice to see him back out front here. Well, not out front, but up in the top of the running order.
Columbia Wets, side-by-side Rada and Poteet, Stanley and Baker, Poulin and Bailey.
Seems like the outside line really hasn't been as organized this run. It was been strong all night, but nobody really wants to be up there right now.
Living Good in 6th on the bottom groove in the 57. We know that he has tried for so long to win a Solstice racing event before he hangs up the helmet. Has Wets on the apron, and I think he's going to be letting the field go.
Oh, trouble. 31 and the 9 make contact. 31 going to have to jump to the middle. Baker on the outside now.
3 wide. Rada second.
And Poteet going to get back up in front of the 9 here. Looked a little sketchy there going into 3.
Barely avoids getting sucker hold.
Yeah, I was just about to say, that's the one way you don't want to end up in the middle is that way, but he manages to recover by the exit of the corner. And these Fords here pacing each line, not really giving up a whole lot. Steve Rada made his way up into 2nd here on the inside. When did he get in front of Jeremy Stanley? I completely missed that.
Off of turn 2, Poteet leads Baker. Leads Bailey on the outside. They've got a huge run, 203 versus 200 miles an hour. They can slowly make their advantage towards the front.
It just seems like the outside line slowly getting a few cars here. Maybe they can get one more up there, even the lines out, get a little organized, and make a run at this thing. Seems like the 9 Nick Baker getting a little impatient, wanting to get moving here.
You got to make something happen as we get closer and closer to the end.
That outside lane continuing to get farther and farther from the lead.
Columbia holds the lead over Rada. Stanley in 3rd. Remember, it's not a win-and-you're-in scenario for the playoffs. But any one of these guys, if they win, will certainly get some momentum and some much-needed points going in to the round of 10.
2.
As the round of 12, the wild card round, whatever you want to call it, we begin the round of 10 or round 2 of the playoffs next week at Iowa Speedway. Tune in HVMP, 9:15 p.m. Eastern Time. Hopefully, I will be much more energetic than I am this week. But hopefully, you've had some fun. Dylan Body, Brandon Nicholson helping us out.
Yeah, it's been a good night. I like the relaxed vibe. It's kind of the opposite of what you'd probably expect for the wild card weekend of Solstice, but it's been fun, you know, getting some extra testing in because we're gonna have some logistical changes coming up here with you trying to make a couple of races here in the next leg of the season. So it's good to get the practice in now instead of not with a live audience.
As top 3
Really,
have not broken away.
no, not a lot going on. The top lane has lost another car. They're down to 4. It looks like 4 versus about 9 right now. So they're gonna need some help, but they're hanging there with about the 3rd place, 4th place cars, just not able to get up to the lead.
Poteet, will he try and jump in front of Poulin?
Well, Jeremy Stanley tried, and they had to run and close the door. Luckily, he thought better of it just in time.
These guys are going to get the run on the outside. One of these cars could try and dip in that gap, but that would probably end up wadding up the field, so they're going to have to sit and wait. But they did make a little bit of progress down the back straightaway.
Yeah, finally, outside line getting a little organized there. Had a good lap. They're making a little progress here. They really just need, I think, one more car. When they get 5 or 6 cars, they seem to really be competitive.
As lap 87, beginning of 101. And they kind of fall away, but we'll have to see down the backstretch if they can get the momentum off of the corner.
And just as a
That's
reminder, our 4 wild card drivers, Steve Rada, Nick Baker, Cole DeRozier, and Dylan Poteet, all still running, all still on the lead lap. And I guess Rada's 1 lap down.
Oh, Rada is a lap down.
I did
Oh
not
yeah, he
notice
is.
that.
I didn't even notice that.
I don't know why it took us that long to figure this one out.
I was getting ready to
Busy
say,
watching the action and not the ticker here. I've been looking at the cars and not the numbers.
But this makes it interesting because you would think
He's
that Rada
basically just here to help Stanley, you'd think.
So if he makes a move, Stanley follows him.
Yeah,
And
the
he's-
problem is getting him and Stanley both clear of that outside lane, though, because Stanley's basically the bubble car that they're on the outside
And
of.
he's the battering ram through the air, so he knocks the door down.
Yeah, it could be the huge advantage Stanley needs. He doesn't have to be the lead car, doesn't have to break the air and be slower than the guys behind him, but would still technically be the leader if him and Rada could get around.
But this will hinder the 3 unless something catastrophic happens. I don't think he's going to be able to advance into the round of 10.
well, he's the only car a lap down, so you never know. We're almost to the point of no return. We've still got 11 laps to go, or 12 laps to go.
As Stanley isn't clear of Poteet. That requires a lot of timing, more so than usual, because you kind of don't think about another car when you're trying to draft. You kind of just go for yourself. But now he has to make sure that he's clear so he can make sure that Rada's clear, if that's what they're doing. They could be making us look like a bunch of idiots.
Yeah, this could just be Steve trying to be aggressive to be in the position he needs to be in if there's a wreck. Maybe he doesn't know he's the only car a lap down.
As he's the only car off the lead lap. The other car that's not in the pack is defending champion Michael Frisch, who grenaded the engine earlier
Stage 2.
on in the race. Columbia likes this. Because Rada's off the lead lap, he's got a decent
They
gap.
really got one car to contend with, and that's the outside car of Dylan Poteet.
But Poteet is slowly making an advantage. It's 4 cars versus 9 cars, and they're somehow making it work.
Yeah, those 4 just have been getting. There hasn't been any change up in their order for about 4 or 5 laps. I feel like they're just all really getting familiar with each other and what they got to do, and they've figured out what works, and they're all just sticking to it. And they're slowly making some progress, but I think they're gonna need help to be able to challenge for the win.
Unless Rada just had a
Oh,
transponder
Rada's
issue.
fallen out. No, this shakes up everything. Columbia is now a sitting duck.
And that 1/10 of a second buffer he had is gone.
It's completely gone, and
In
here
the wall,
comes the
Baker.
outside line.
Just
Oh,
as you
and-
say that, they fall apart.
Oh no, I need to stop speaking.
If you stop speaking, no one will be speaking. Side by side, Poteet and Poulin. Poteet's now falling back. He lost all the momentum that he had.
Yeah, it's
Rada does fall
like
out.
at least another 2 or 3 laps. Stanley looking like he wants to make that jump to the outside now. Still hasn't made and pulled the trigger yet.
But while we still have, 10 laps to go, I'd like to think Poteet in the wall.
Oh,
Dave's
and they
in the
hang on to
31.
it.
And Living Good hangs on to it as well.
Good save, guys.
And that
But
just
I'd like-
killed his run.
But I'd like to think that the 3's chances of advancing to the round of 10 are gone.
Yeah.
And that really hurt Poteets, too.
As DeRozier
Pit
Baker.
stops.
Here they come
Pitting,
down pit
DeRozier's
lane.
around
Oh,
the 23.
DeRozier's around. Man, are we really that tight on fuel?
And caution is out.
Oh man.
Don't ever mention of what. Can we? You know what I'm gonna do? Hey Siri, remind me to set the Twilight Zone as the Solstice intro song.
Yeah. This I really did speak too soon earlier tonight.
That's crazy. It's spooky time. It's October. We've had
Poopy season.
we've had 4 spooky 5 me for the last 2 months.
Taking a look at the replay here. Looks like Erdman just wasn't slowed down enough for these guys to come down pit road and just got right into the back of him. Maybe he didn't know if DeRozier was pitting or not.
Twilight zone emerges again.
And this is going to send a lot of people to the back because they're going to have to pit. All the guys
I think
who
Living
stayed
Good
out
pitted.
there. Erdman, Bailey, and Poteet are all going to have to pit coming here.
You know what's funny? It's not even us like acting like it's the Twilight Zone, or it's
It's
like
just us trying to have a normal broadcast and things just happen.
yes, literally
This is
yes.
just the Twilight Zone is forcing itself upon us.
I'm gonna look while we're under caution. I'm gonna take a look and see because we're around what 11 now. Find the schedule. I want to find the schedule graphic because I think it's been a while. Look, let me see if I can find it. Yeah, so the Twilight Zone began. Lucas Oil, right? That was their first mention of the Twilight Zone.
I believe so, yes.
So August 22nd.
Yep, that's exactly right, right before my birthday.
So if we look at a calendar, it's October 10th. We've been in the Twilight Zone for
2
a month.
months.
Well, yeah, 2 months.
It's
Literally
like
2 months.
another-
8 weeks. It's been 8 weeks.
It's insanity.
Well, apparently we're at Talladega, not Daytona, so.
That's another
Yeah,
reason.
that too. That's spooky season. That's Hallowdega. Hallowdega comes to life in October.
As October races are Iowa, Trois Rivières, and Auto Club after this. We're going to wrap up the season in Pocono, Colorado Motorplex, and Atlanta before the holiday season. And hopefully, I have to look. When is... So we wrap it up on the 21st, and then Thanksgiving is the 28th. Oh boy. We're getting real close to
Yeah, not a lot of time left.
a retail employee's favorite weekend.
Hey,
Black Friday.
culinary employees' favorite weekend too.
We get ready to go back green. We're going to begin lap number 95 of 101. If my simple math is correct, with my goldfish brain, we've got 6 laps to settle it, gentlemen. Green flag.
Yes, sir. Green back in the air. Nick Baker, not a good restart. Chris Wett's all over the back bumper though, trying to help recover and get him back up to the bumper of the 21.
As Erdman had some transponder issues in the 52, he is back out on track now, but he is coming off of turn 2, and the field is coming off of turn 2.
And you know what? I'm not even gonna say the thought I'm having. We're not gonna do that. We're not gonna put that evil on him.
Into turn number 3. We're coming to 5 laps to go.
And the field is about to eat the 52 alive, and they're almost 3 wide. This is gonna be close. And Joey Bailey's gonna get down in time.
And DeRozier into the grass.
Oh, DeRozier in the grass manages to hold on. That was very nerve-wracking. I'm sure all those guys were having a great moment in the cars.
And in their
Outside
brakes.
line, back,
3
organized.
cars versus
Pulling
4 cars.
to the outside. Lambert going even farther to the outside with Dylan Smith. Nope, jumps back in.
3 wide for the lead.
Nick Baker with the big run from Brandon Lambert, Dylan Smith, and Chris Wetz on the outside.
And Bailey through the middle with Poulin. And Baker with Columbia. They're side by side. 3 wide for 2 rows. 4 laps to go in Daytona.
And for the first time in what feels like a century, Arnold Columbia is not going to lead that lap.
And Nick
Yeah, it
Baker
really
will.
felt like he had put a sleeper hold on the race there for a while. Nick Baker and Lambert now back to the middle lane. Gonna cut off the draft from the number 1 car. I don't know if maybe they're gonna jump back up or if they were, oh yeah, just trying to blow the momentum of the middle lane. Thought maybe they were trying to box the one out. And Lambert gonna force his way to the inside.
Makes it work in the 46.
Baker into the corner. But now you just gave Nick Baker the fastest car in the field behind him. Maybe that was a mistake.
Coming at 3 laps.
And they hang Nick Baker out.
4 to go, sorry. 4 to go in Daytona.
Oh, 60 and 21 make a little contact coming through the tri-oval.
Side by side, Lambert and Columbia. Side by side, Poulin with Stanley. Then it's Wetz and Living Good, 2 by 2 by 2. Dylan Smith all by himself in 4th on the top groove. What we said, he's gone from 7th to 1st before. And he knows what he's doing.
It takes him about 2,600 feet to pull it off.
There he goes. But Poulin closes the door.
Ooh, Poulin getting into the 46 right in the end of the corner. That was a little
Poulin's
sketchy. He's going to have to pull up.
Poulin's going to open the door up for Smith. Smith's going to be behind his teammate. 3
Smith's
laps
sitting right
to
where
go
he likes to be.
in
Putting
Daytona.
himself in position at the right time. Got the LMT Toyotas here in the middle groove. Got 2 Ford Mustangs on the bottom helping each other out. And then we have the lone Chevy with a 2 Dodge Challengers on the outside.
I think we're getting to the point of no return here, gentlemen.
Yes,
And boy, is it getting close. Lambert, Dylan Smith, Wetz with a huge run on the outside. Lambert's going to block him.
Lambert's in the
into
outside
turn
to
3.
block. And this business is definitely picked up, boys. There is no more friendly fun going on out here. This is a take it all and give nothing. Lambert again to block Wetz.
That's what you got to do.
Get back down.
2 to go.
He's got to wreck somebody with those aggressive moves. Nothing against it. That's how you have to race. It's just that is some crazy stuff to watch.
If they wreck
3
now,
wide.
if they wreck now, there's no cautions. We are at the point of no return.
3 wide.
Good go.
Wetz dropping back with Poulin. We might have to say sayonara to his hopes. Lambert, Smith, and Baker. Bailey, Living Good, Stanley, and Columbia. Poulin and Wetz have gotten on the outside, so it's 5 versus 4.
Now this time the outside line with the numbers. Not something we've really seen all night.
Coming to the white flag, gentlemen, in Daytona. Columbia leads Lambert, Stanley, Smith, and Baker top 5. 2.5 miles.
Lambert at the line this time. Joey Bailey squeezing in the middle. Oh, Dylan Smith's around!
Gets turned in front of the field. And this is going to make it interesting. Can
51
Columbia...
and the 39 trying to stay organized. Joey Bailey tried to stay off the throttle instead of going around the 39 so they could try to make a run at Lambert here, who's going to be
Columbia's
sitting.
got a huge run.
Huge run. Here he goes! And now Joey Bailey's sitting where he needs to be on the outside. Oh, Lambert with a great block.
3 and 4, that might have sealed it. As
That
Lambert,
might be it.
after so long of being winless in Solstice Proline, can he hold off Columbia? Columbia to the outside. Lambert's going to do it again, and he wins in Daytona.
Joey Bailey with a great move to come home second. And they're going to wad it up for the hell of it after a crazy last few laps here in Daytona. Wow. That was some good racing at the end. The package really came through.
What a shame for Dylan Smith there at the end.
Yeah, just the bad luck bug. Once again, wrong place, wrong time.
As Mr. Dylan Living Good, you go over what
P5,
just happened
buddy.
on that last lap there?
Calamity. That's all I can say. That was just chaos. I mean, really, there's nowhere to go. We know that we're gonna ride to the end, just kind of like that. If nobody makes a move, all of a sudden I saw a car get turned around, and I just turned the windshield wipers on and went through it, and had a pretty good 3-way drag race there to the 4-way drag race to the end. And it was a lot of fun. Top 5 in my final Solstice race. Couldn't be any happier.
Where's your magic horseshoe, Brandon Lambert? And give it to me for NASA Rallycross, please.
I don't know where it's at, man. Oh boy, I'm so excited. It's been a long time since I won a super speedway race.
What a block that you put. Obviously, given the crazy last lap, but I think what was ballsy is that move that you did on the back straightaway on the final lap.
Yeah, that was pretty fucking insane. I knew I had to do something though, cause man, this package you get so much suck up so quick that it's hard to block, but you just got to figure out how to do it. Oh, my heart's pounding right now.
Well, Dylan or Brandon, you got anything for our race winner?
Man, it was impressive. It seemed like your teammate Dylan Smith was going to really be the guy to beat, and then at the end, it seemed like you kind of figured out whatever he was doing to get those runs, man, and it all just came together for you. Congratulations. It was a great win. Great race to watch at the end. Good job, man.
Oh, thank you very much. No, Dylan told me that he was getting good runs on the restarts, and I kind of saw him go through it a couple different times, but I was just like, yeah, shit, I got to figure out what he's doing. But on that last restart, before we had that wreck with like 8 laps to go, I fell to the back because I was feeling a wreck coming. I just didn't know when it was coming, so I fell to the back on purpose. And we had a wreck coming in the pits, and it kind of just fell right in my lap. And then coming back to the green flag with like 8 or 7 laps to go, I told Dylan, I was like, look, I'm going balls to walls. I'm going full blast, 100%. I don't give a crap. And that's exactly what it did. And for the first time, it's actually paid off.
All right, my friend. Well, congratulations. Hopefully you can keep this momentum up beginning the second round of the playoffs. Good run.
Thank you very much, man.
As normally we'd have a big celebratory post-race show, but I myself am going to go back to sleep. So congratulations to Brandon Lambert. Hope you guys enjoyed the coverage while it was laid back from Dylan Body, Brandon Nicholson. You guys got any final thoughts before we say goodbye?
No, just thanks for hanging out with us and bearing with us on this kind of relax little trip tonight. Next week, hopefully, everybody will be feeling better. We can get back into this thing full time, full enthusiasm, and get into these playoffs, man. It's time for business to pick up.
As the Twilight Zone begins, like I said, from all of us here at HVMP, Brandon Nicholson, Dylan Body, Dylan Livinggood, Josh Mertz. We'll see you next week in Iowa. But until then, so long, everyone.